These players are also playing for a potential top 8 slot. All three of these matches we're bringing you here this round all potentially make top 8 with a win.
So here we got Robert Kremians on your left on Azorius, Days and Doing Control, and John Parker on 4-color Rhinos. Parker hoping to sneak in at X2 is going to definitely need some help. Going to need both of the remaining 4-1-1s were paired down. And Parker's going to need to win this and have the other 4-1-1 also lose. And have his get a little help with the breakers.
All right, we're going to get our graphic updated for you with life totals in game in just a moment as we're switching over. Our spotter is getting that information as we speak. On your right, John Parker with 4-color Rhinos. On your left, Robert Kremians with blue-white Days and Doing. We watched Days and Doing get a draw a round or two ago. Deck looks pretty sweet, but a little bit slow.
And right now, facing down quite a few threats.
Yeah, that all connected last turn too, right? A big attack and then a Yorion blinked everything, so 11 to 17 seems to be the life total with John Parker up a game.
What is that creature in the middle?
It's a Shardless Agent.
Shardless Agent, okay.
All right, here we have a Detention Sphere on Leyline Binding. That's going to return Teferi Time Raveler to play. And now that can minus and bounce something and draw a card, or tick up and allow for an instant speed Supreme Verdict / Days and Doing.
But with Kremians at 8, Days and Doing is not going to work. We're facing down 9. So he's got to have something going.
Well, here's what can happen. We draw, right? We Days and Doing, but it doesn't end the turn if it's cast on the opponent's turn. It's got a weird clause, right? What we can find is Solitude. Solitude with a pitch card allows us to interact with no mana.
Yep. Well, it looks like we just have the Solitude.
Could be both.
Pitching March. So, not sure if everything was attacking Kremians, but we're going to get the Solitude.
All right, it's going to give John Parker some more life. Solitude goes to the graveyard, kind of like a pitch sword to the plowshares here. 5 damage coming in. That's going to put Kremians down to 3 life, or the Teferi is going to take some damage. We'll confirm in a minute.
I think it all went to Kremians, so it'd be 3 to 24 after combat.
All right. So in response to the Teferi,
Does have the Days Undoing.
casting the Days and Doing,
No.
but it gets...
Yeah, can't do that. Opposing Teferi is going to stop a Mystical Dispute.
Yep. Good call. So we're going to shuffle hands.
Honestly, I think potentially a misstep from Kremians.
You have to do it in response to the Teferi or you can't cast it.
Could have done it in the end of combat.
What does that matter? It doesn't end the turn, right? He doesn't want to play till end step. There's no Narset in play. You're giving
there's no Narset
7
in play.
fresh cards.
Yeah, I was assuming there was an Narset.
Yeah. I had the same thought a minute ago and then nixed it. And
this is a desperation Days Undoing.
Right.
Not a good Days Undoing.
Well, at least it's cast in a spot where your opponent's already used some mana and you get to untap with 7 cards. All right. So we got 3 life for Robert. Both players going to draw 7. Let's see if this blue-white Days Undoing can do something cool next turn.
A lot of lands and a Crashing Footfalls to start for Parker. Looks like another Solitude and a Violent Outburst. That's a pretty awful 7.
Might be worst possible.
Because the Teferi shuts down all of those cards.
Well, Solitude doesn't do much. Might want to main phase of Solitude or something. The Teferi's still on the stack, so the Teferi's going to resolve. We're going to get a bounce.
We could bounce the Detention Sphere, Leyline Binding the opposing Teferi, and then have a Cascade. But
yeah, I like that play, but...
he decides not to do that. Is just casting a bunch of creatures main phase. So... we're all in trying to get this game over with.
All right. Let's see if Robert can clean up this ragtag group of 3-2s and 2-2s.
Yeah, Supreme Verdict, I think, would do it.
You think? You think it would be fine?
With Teferi stopping the Force of Negation in Parker's hand, though I don't think he has a blue card to pitch anyway.
It's got to be either 2 removal spells or a verdict. There's not really a lot of room to maneuver here for Robert. Tapping 3 mana. The Narset. We're gonna dig for a verdict.
4 more looks, baby.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jesus.
That does not seem like a man who found a supreme verdict in the top 4 cards. You saw how slowly he started shuffling them? Sandbag!
Welcome to control players.
Sandbag! Wow. Dude, if I was John, I would be mad. As the verdict off the top with the Narset, gonna take out those creatures. Very. Gonna plus. Now we go back John Parker's way. He's gonna fetch at the end of turn, get 1 more mana.
Now, Premians has to close this game quickly so he has enough time to win game 3. Because Parker is up a game here, and they're below 20 minutes left in the round.
All right, quick question. Can we put the mana base of Creativity and the mana base of Rhinos into one deck and then play Creativity Rhinos?
Probably.
I think so, too. I think it might not be that hard. I'm just saying. That's a new project for somebody in Twitch chat, I'm sure. Back John Parker's way. Let's see if he can find a way to win this game. Barry ticks up. You got to imagine having that turn where the detention sphere was not bounced. It's going to be kicking him. Spend Rhinos. In 4 turns, you get to do nothing.
4 turns, it gets to stay in the exile zone.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Teferi minus here just to draw a card. Neither player can play things at instant speed. Both players have Teferi Time Raveler in play. Robert has access to Colonnade, which can check. But we'll just see how he sequences. Might not be that necessary to play on your opponent's turn. The static effect from Teferi actually just shuts down so much from this Team of Rhinos deck.
That looks like a big Teferi.
That's a big boy.
That will, I guess, get us closer to ending this game?
I guess. It's going to take a while, though, right? You minus on your opponent's Teferi? Like, you know the shields are down, right? It's not, no one's playing, like, Decree of Justice or whatever. Or, like, there's nothing that can get under this Teferi very easily. The channel lands, like, no one's playing Soken'Zon, like...
John Parker needs a Shark Typhoon. None in his deck list.
That's another heater we could play in the Creativity version, right? All we gotta do is play 120 cards. That way we'll never draw Archon, right?
Or Crashing Footballs.
Right. We want to dilute. Maybe play Battle Woods too? That's sick. How many, we can play, what, 20 fetches?
You're going too deep.
Am I? I feel like I'm owning right now. Oh, we can play 40 fetches. Only 16 are red, though. All right, Robert, firmly in the driver's seat. John Parker's, most of his deck is shut down by the Teferi Time Raveler. It's such a brutal card for these Cascade decks. The static effect makes it so you literally cannot cast the Crashing Footfalls once you Cascade.
And it looks like Robert going to be content to take over this game with Big Teferi, but that is going to take a while to get it to end.
And if you're John Parker, and do you care about a draw? Not really. Well, you're already pretty far behind. Like, down a match. I don't know.
Neither of these players wants to draw.
I mean, that's true.
Because that will knock them both out of the tournament.
Well, if I'm Robert, I'm playing with purpose and speed, right? I feel like this pace of play from Robert is unacceptable as far as trying to win 2 games in the next 16 minutes. A draw is death. You have to speed it up. Here comes Prismatic Ending.
It's just the controlled life.
Right, but as a control player, you should know that you got to turn on the gas. 16 minutes to finish 2 games. Go faster. Just click buttons. You win. It's easy.
It's not in their nature.
That's fair.
They can't bring. There's only one control player I know who can flip that switch, and it's Jim Davis.
Are you kidding? Do you not know who I am? Do you not know the decks?
You just play really fast the entire time.
Right, but when I'm playing control, I am zooming.
Yeah, but it's not a switch that's flipping.
That's fair.
You're just always fast.
You said you only knew one control player that could flip the switch, and I took that as one that can play fast.
No, it's one that can go from playing deliberately to playing very fast immediately.
JD. That just makes you think that Jim is just like being a jerk the whole time, you know? So Mr. Divination himself. We were watching some old school matches on stream a while back, and Jim's like blue-white matchup from one of the Players Championships came up, and he just cast divination. I just leaned in the mic and whispered, "We have a divination. We have a divination on aisle 3."
Here we have a Narset tick down. We'll find another reactive card, an Ether Gust. Got a full grip. Yeah, just spend some more time drawing cards.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
The worst thing that can happen is you end up drawing.
I think we're at the point where Robert Kremians can no longer win the match. Just don't think there's enough time.
Well, if he had turned on the gas 3 minutes ago and activated Colonnade a bunch and started attacking, maybe. But at this pace of play, it's pretty clear that he's going to win the game. Playing a Seagate Restoration, you think drawing 12 more cards is good or bad? His hand is 9 cards already. He's casting Seagate Restoration. Look, I'm not like questioning integrity here. This is not that. Here's what I'm doing. I'm asking a question. What are you doing? Why are you not winning the game?
Now he's got no maximum hand size.
Oh,
Now
that's the juice right there. Actually, you know what? If I'm gonna go out, I'm going out and casting Seagate Restoration.
yeah, let's play a Chalice 0.
You know, I'm gonna lock this up. Barry gonna untap 2 lands. John Parker, can you please tap the mat? Thank you.
Okay.
That's actually insane for Robert that the mat's getting tapped there. I think that Robert can actually win a game in 12-ish minutes. So can John Parker, right? It's a good concession from John to try to win the match. That's just super lucky for Robert, because if John Parker didn't want to, he could just keep playing. Like, he could just draw go until time runs out, basically.
Well, we are going to see a game 3 here. We'll see if they can come to a natural conclusion in that game. I can tell you Jonathan Parker's sideboard is the 1 Eorian as a companion, 2 Unmoored Ego, 4 Endurance, 4 Force of Vigor, and 4 Mystical Dispute. Gotta like the disputes. Potentially you want Force of Vigor because you know there are chalices on the other side.
But that's like the only target. That's like kind of a bummer.
But there's probably some Leyline bindings too.
Yeah, I think you just have enough stuff with Binding and Teferi that you can unlock it. I mean, Binding is just such an incredible card for that deck, you know? There's so many problematic permanents that you have trouble with, and now you just don't.
Yeah.
Thanks to Binding.
Kremian sideboard. We've got the 3 chalices. We saw 1 Gust, 3 Veto, 2 Dress Down, an Engine and Explosives, a Kahira Companion, 2 Rest in Peace, a Stony Silence, and a Summary Dismissal. You know, the Gust, the Chalices, the Vetoes, and the EE, all great at stopping Rhinos. But how many of those can you bring in and afford to, you know, just stop the one part of their game plan? These 4-color Rhinos also has Omnath, a bunch of pitch elementals that can easily take over a game if you're stuck with a hand of Dovin's Vetoes and Chalices.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those reactive cards, that's kind of why people steer clear of them, especially the situationally reactive stuff. In Modern, people love to be proactive because the cards are just so powerful.
Okay, 12 minutes.
It's kind of crazy. Like, Counterspell got reprinted, and it's good, but it's not like Counterspell in this format good. You know what I mean?
See 2 Crashing Footfalls in John Parker's hand, and that is not where you want those.
Yeah, especially against a deck with Teferi, but seems like he also has Ardent Plea and an Omnath. Might be worth keeping, especially if that last card's Force Negation that I saw. Let's throw it back. Robert going to show him. They're both taking a mulligan. Robert showing him 2 Mystic Gates and 2 Counterspells.
Robert going to spend some time talking about his hand and looking at the top cards of his deck.
Yeah, because that's what you do when you have 12 minutes on the clock as a control player. You know,
you got to finish.
Again, there is no advantage to playing slow here. A draw for either player knocks them out of the event. Not a call out for anything malicious. Simply question. Why? Play faster.
Do we know who won the other matchup that we had? Because they looked to be the other ones remaining.
That's the question I wanted.
The Ryan Winans, Justin Reams match. Justice Reams, that is the X2. So if Robert Kremians wins this match, he will certainly be in.
Nice.
If Parker wins, then they're pretty close in tiebreakers. There's only 2 percentage points separating them. It'll be a question of which one of them can come out on top in that tiebreaker race. No one particularly close to them in tiebreakers among the X2 bracket.
All right, looks like we're ready to go here. Both players keeping their 6, putting the card on bottom. John Parker going to start it off. Let's see what he's got. Turn 1, 1/15 pass.
Yeah. So Justice Reams certainly hoping for a draw here because that punches his ticket straight to the top 8.
All right, going to pass the turn here. Crimeans with just a tap tri-land. John Parker going to fetch. Probably getting a tri-land as well. Again, I can't stress how cool the tri-lands are for this format. You know, they open up so much stuff. Fetch lands, playing 1 triome, just, you know, gives so much value to things like engineered explosives and prismatic ending, and sometimes even just like light splashes, leyline binding.
How much shuffling do we need to do on our turn 1 fetch land?
I don't know, man.
You know me. I'm
okay. Here's
team
what we're
shuffle.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop talking about on playing slow, and we're just gonna call the match because. I mean, it's driving me crazy too, right? I'm internally screaming.
I want them to finish.
I do too. I think everyone at home wants them to finish too. I think the only people who don't want to finish are them. Robert with a turn 2 fetch land. Let's see if there's a play. Chalice on 0. See if John Parker has a response. Sounds like a big Sag. We're gonna fetch. Probably getting another fetch or a tri-land to unlock all 5 colors.
Yeah. Gotta dig through my 80 card deck for my singleton land.
That's honestly the only downside of playing your Rhinos in real life is that you have to play 80 cards and shuffling is hard. And fetching is hard. It's like my hands are not big enough to like shuffle 80 cards easily.
Oh,
I don't know about you.
You'll never see me play a Yorian deck and constructed in paper.
I think that's enough to ban it, right? Just get it out.
I agree.
80 cards is like sacrilege, man. All right, John Parker taking a sweet time. Kedra Triome is the find. Turn number 3.
We started this game with 12 minutes on the clock. We are on turn 3 with 8.5 minutes on the
clock. If me and you were playing this matchup, we'd be on turn 9. Easy. Lango, shuffle Lango. Lango, shuffle Lango. Chalice. Okay, resolves. Go. All right. 3 mana. Buy Yorion.
Not great.
Nope. That just means the Chalice of the Void's doing work. Because it probably locked out like multiple cards.
There's definitely a violent outburst I can see in Parker's hand. There's a Solitude of Fury. Yeah, so just some pitch elementals. Not really going to be able to apply a lot of pressure here. Gotta wonder if Cremians might be able to steal this one with one of those creature lands. If a Hall comes down and we start attacking with it on turn 7, could maybe close this game out.
Yeah, stuff like Solitude's pretty good against Hall, though, because you can pitch and pay 3 pretty easily. No third land from Robert. Really relying on the strength of Chalice to slow him down. Maybe John Parker finds an opening here. Maybe he's got something to play. Like his hand is just some Cascaders. Might want to play the Shardless Agent just to put a 2/2 down. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Scathe Zombies. That's a good reference. I haven't thought about Scathe Zombies in a long time.
You do still have to resolve the trigger, unfortunately.
Yeah, you don't have to cast the card though.
Yeah, you can decline to cast it and keep it in your deck, or you can cast it and put it into his graveyard.
All right, flipping until he finds a Crashing Footfalls. Every time he flips, that's like 1 fewer second on the clock. Big bummer, but still 7 minutes left. Seeing by his game. All right, choosing not to cast. We're gonna shuffle and put it on the bottom, and probably gonna pass the turn.
How about we can pass the turn right now?
I'm just gonna rub Ross's back so he calms down. Little guy, come on, little buddy. It's okay.
Island. That was a land drop that was not the card drawn for turn.
Maybe sandbag the land? I'm pretty sure he drew Island for a turn.
Yeah.
He just shuffled it
into to Fairy. This is going to be taken down by a Fury. So Parker, going to be able to attack that for 2 with the Shardless Agent, and then deal it 4 with the Fury.
And then he's got some serious pressure. I mean, Fury's essentially a 6/3. Dealing tons of damage over the next 2 turns. Shardless Agent, a 2/2. And with Cremians stuck on lands early, might not end up having a land for Verdict here. With Teferi down, didn't draw a card. I would have liked to have seen, honestly, the Shardless Agent get bounced and draw a card.
Yeah.
Plains is the fine. I mean, with Chalice in play, like, it's not that threatening, right? He already cast it last turn, which means he probably just has nothing. Draw for turn. It's another Chalice of the Void. The second one doesn't do a lot because The first one counters it if you try to play it on 0. No 4th land from Robert means that perhaps in a little bit of trouble. How does Robert win this game? 5 minutes. Is it possible? If it is, tell me how.
It's got to be Hall of Storm Giants.
Okay.
But without making land drops, that's going to be tough. Could potentially get to 5 and play a Solitude, start attacking with that. In 5 minutes, you can still play a lot of turns. But
Right.
just takes the 8 here. I don't know what Cremians is holding in his hand, but
I saw a Dazen doing, Prismatic Ending, a Chalice of the Void, and I don't know what the rest is. Probably reactive stuff like Mystical Dispute. He has an Ether Gust.
okay.
I feel like this should have been cast way earlier in the turn. Puts it on top. Smart. Draw. Robert takes it. It's a 4th land. Mystigate even. Lets him filter some mana.
Let's go.
Solitude Beatdown commence. Fury drawn. Bash for 5. Robert gonna take it. Down to 6.
Any other creature added to this battlefield is going to be lethal. Actually, the Violent Outburst itself is lethal, so I'm not sure if you even want to play anything else into a verdict.
Yeah, I just chill, I think.
Parker disagrees. Slams the Fury that Cremians knows about. Still does have a Fury back, so...
Alright. Fury comes down. Robert's going to draw, probably play Verdict and clean it up. We're going to see if John Parker can close the game after the Verdict comes down.
Still has another Fury and a Yorian. You know, will be interesting to see which one he wants to play. Yorian does not represent lethal, but Fury could potentially answer a Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Decides to get aggressive.
Well, he was just soaking a lot of damage, so there might just be no real answer in hand, or it might just have to be a Supreme Verdict, and a 1-for-1 Verdict is great. Robert draws, shrugs his shoulders, but he did sandbag last game, so I'm curious if he has an answer. It looks like he's thumbing a Dazen doing.
Stays in doing, try to hit Solitude. There's only 2 Solitudes in Cremian's deck, by the way. So
Yeah, you also give John Parker a fresh 7 to start his turn.
yeah,
But you might not have another chance. That might be the only play. 3 mana. We're going to spin the wheel.
wow.
All right, hand and graveyard, go back in. John Parker, if he has a counterspell, might want to just fire this off.
Just as Violent Outburst Yorian.
Okay. Yorin gets shuffled in. That's funny.
Yeah. Let's spend some time laughing about that. Yep.
Ross, my man. Just no chill.
There's
no
3 minutes
chill.
on the clock.
So these guys are both locals, and Ricker said they're just like chatting it up, like, they're just taking their sweet old time.
We're going to have a talk with all these folks. I don't know if y'all know much about me, chat, but I am a cutthroat Magic the Gathering player. And when I see people like just kind of donking around, it's not that I'm mad or anything. I'm just like flabbergasted.
I see, once again, a ton of lands in Parker's hand. But do we see a Solitude? Because this ends the turn.
It does. So we're in John Parker's upkeep
Yeah.
right now. The turn has ended.
Yeah. You don't get to take any more game actions, Robert. Yeah. There's no potential end step fetch. The turn has ended.
Yep. All right. Well,
Okay. We've got a Teferi.
bang. Solitudes. March pitching whole hand.
Oh,
not
just
enough.
showing he doesn't
The
have
bluff.
the
The
other.
bluff.
Well, he would need 3 white cards, right?
Yeah.
With only one mana.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right.
We
well,
have come to a conclusion.
Thank you. Thank you.
So John Parker taking that down. That means both of our 4/1/1 players who were paired down took the loss.
okay. So
Which
that
means
means
we should have an 5/2 sneaking in.
and it might be the person who just won.
Yeah, Jonathan Parker and Justice Reams are very close in tiebreakers. We'll have to see how it, how it plays out. But it is almost assuredly one of the two of them sneaking in at 8th